Stephen, it's a bitter cold Edinburgh and it's a 2-1 defeat. It's a double dunt for you, really. That's a disappointing one to take.
Well, it is, but it probably sums up our season where we can't seem to string two results together. You know, I think I spoke to you after the St Johnstone game about 3 weeks ago, and it was the exact same scenario. You know, the boys were out last week against Falkirk and won and played reasonably well. Coming here today, you know, we had an experienced side. First and foremost, it was good to see Stevie Hamill and Keith Lasley back on the pitch. You know, I think you can see the quality they have on the ball. So ultimately, you know, the first team is the most important thing. So those guys being back fit for Saturday is crucial for that. On the game itself, you know, I thought we dominated the game. You know, we had lots of the ball. We probably didn't have as many chances as what we would like to have had. But certainly, you know, in possession of the ball, the way we moved the ball, I spoke to Joe McBride, the manager, after, and he said we were great. You know, he thought we played really well. And I said that doesn't really, you know, help when you think you've played well and lost the game. So, you know, it's always a bit of a learning curve for young boys. You know, it seems to be different individuals making different mistakes every single week. You know, or you know, when you lose a game, you're trying to analyse the 2 goals of, you know, send to the centre half at half time. That in possession of the ball, if the player on the ball has no pressure on him and he's lots of time, he's probably looking to play the ball in behind you. You know, that's okay from straight balls, but even from the first goal, I think Luke Watt is kind of ball watching a little bit, watching what's going on, and just a simple cross into the box. So that's disappointing. The second one, you know, I think, you know, the goalkeeper probably throws the ball a little bit too early, Peter. You know, he's keen to get forward. We're on top of the game at that stage. I'd say that the boy goes and has a wonderful strike. So all round disappointing night, because I felt as if our play deserved more than a 2-1 defeat. But, you know, as young players, they have to learn.
It's almost a cliche, but you were so ahead, I thought, in the first half in particular. You really probably had to score at that point to really get it. And had you get yourself ahead at that point, who knows, it could have been a completely different game.
Yeah, it's you know, it's the old thing about football that, you know, when you're dominating and you're on top of the play, you have to try and take your chances. I just felt our final ball at times in the first half. Again, it's probably stuff I'm continually talking about, but, you know, when you get into the final third, you're always judged in your final pass or your final shot. That's the difference at times between winning and losing games. And you just feel as if, you know, the spell we had in the first half, you know, when we were on top, if you do get that goal, everybody settles down. We can dictate the game a little bit more. Hibs might have to come at us a little bit more and, you know, leave opportunities and leave spaces for her to get into. But I thought as soon as it went back to 1-1, I thought there was only going to be one winner. But then, you know, to be fair to Hibs, they kind of grappled back into it. You know, going 2-1 down, you could see it took an effect on the players. We were disappointed. You know, the game became a little bit stretched. The quality we lost an awful lot. We were going back to front. We couldn't get a hold of the game again. So, yeah, it's one of those ones where, you know, probably another one where I felt on the night we should have won the game.
You mentioned your final ball there as well. That's probably one of the key things that summed up the game, because again, you know, we've had this conversation, you and I, before post under 20s games, but you get into some great positions and it's just sometimes the final ball just didn't pick end out in the box, and that must leave you tearing that hair out that you're...
Well, it does, you know, because it's, you know, we work all the week on getting into the final third. You know, that's always the hardest bit of football, I think, is getting into the final third. Then you rely on the individual quality. You know, you rely on them to pick a pass out or pick the right pass, you know, as it be. But yeah, you know, it is becoming frustrating because it's as if we're getting there continually. You know, I would love to see stats on how often we're in the final third of the pitch and, you know, turning chances into goals. Probably isn't good enough. So, you know, what do? You keep working away at it. You continually keep giving the same message. Somewhere along the line, it's going to click. You know, an awful lot of games this season we've been on top, and, you know, it's just that final thing we do. You know, getting that final shot, the final cross, and not even the final cross with quality. You know, that's the difference. You know, I don't think Hibs had too many attempts. Well, I think Peter had a couple of good saves, probably from us being open and attacking and attacking the game. But yeah, you know, we have to lick our wounds again, and, you know, it's again our season continues of winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one. So somewhere along the line, I promise we will string 2 results together.
One positive from the game, you scored from a set piece, and actually I thought you looked a threat at set pieces most of the night. Hibs got a few kind of close shaves before you actually got one. Pleasing to get one off a corner, because I know that's something coaches pride themselves on in terms of working hard on that during the week.
Yeah, it is. You know, we continually try and do the same kind of corner kicks because, you know, irrespective of who comes into the side, then knows what they're doing. But you just look at the physical presence we have of Dylan Mackin, David Clarkson, and Ben Hall. You know, look what I feel as if we should be getting more. Yeah. You know, like, it's exactly what you're saying. You know, 1 every 4 games isn't enough. You know, we probably had, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 corners, you know, so you do have to take pride in what you're doing. There were a few ones went across the face of goal. I thought Clarkie almost got in the end of one. Goalkeeper kind of parried one. So another evening of nearly for under 20s. It does become frustrating, but the thing is, you got to go back and work again and continue to work with them. But it's something that's been inconsistent all season is our play. You know, just in general play, you know, we look okay some games, other games we don't. So it's just about them continue, you know, to believe in what they're doing. And eventually consistency will come.
Stephen, thanks.
Cheers.